Hey everyone, Brandon Browning here with eXp Realty. One of the most popular things going around in today's world with healthy eating, dieting, and all that stuff is this keto diet that's all over Facebook, all over the social media waves there. So yesterday I caught up with Josh Craig, one of the personal trainers here in the greater Baton Rouge area, and I interviewed him about this keto diet. So if you want to know more about it, stay tuned. Hey everyone, Brandon Browning here again with eXp Realty. I'm here today with Josh Craig, the one and only, for another. What can we need to name this? We haven't even named this yet. We'll figure that out. Anyway, so we're going to do a quick video today. At least we're going to try to do it quick. Yeah. About something that's extremely popular here that I'm seeing all over social media. I'm sure all of you are, and that is the keto diet.
That's right.
Did I say it right?
That's
okay.
Right.
So Josh, a lot of attention going to this keto diet stuff. I know you've been looking at it for quite some time now. Are you still doing it?
No.
All right, so you were doing it.
Yeah.
All right, so tell everybody what a keto diet is, or what the keto diet is.
Okay, the keto diet stands for the Ketogenic Diet. And what it is you train your body to run off of body fat instead of glucose, which is carbohydrates. It's an extremely high fat diet. It's an extremely low carbohydrate diet. When I say low, I'm talking 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. That's it. And that's coming from trace carbs. When I say high fat, I'm talking 70% of your overall caloric intake is coming from fats. Why so high? It's because you've taken away your body's primary fuel source, its favorite fuel source, carbohydrates, and you need a fuel source. So you replace it with fats from foods, oils, nuts, seeds, stuff like that. Also, you have a protein intake, which is moderate, and it's about 20%. And if you're like me, that seems kind of low, but this is why. If you consume too much protein, your body will convert that protein into glucose, and it will kick you out of ketosis. So what is ketosis? Ketosis is a natural metabolic shift that your body does on its own from being in a carbohydrate depleted state. So as you consume carbohydrates, they're stored as water in your muscle cells first, and then in your liver. So as you don't take in any external sources of carbs, it usually takes for me about 3 days before I'm totally depleted. Your body just has a massive flush of water weight, and that's the carbohydrates being used up within your body, and your body just excreting them out. And within that water, there are electrolytes, sodium, magnesium, and potassium. So as your days are going on, okay, you're starting to feel sluggish and tired, and eventually, think of it this way: you're on a mountaintop in carbohydrate land, and then you deplete and you go down, and now you're in the valley and you feel like crap. You really do.
What is it called?
It's called the keto flu. The reason they call it the keto flu is because it's symptomatic of the real flu. It's not contagious. It's brought on by an extreme electrolyte imbalance. This diet is very diuretic, and within that initial water flushing stage of this diet, your electrolytes get flushed out as well. Primarily sodium. Sodium triggers your body to have headaches, fatigue, crankiness, nausea, diarrhea in some people. But this can be alleviated if you know what you're doing. And I stress this to my clients, and I can't stress this enough. Go get some pink Himalayan salt and oversalt everything. Go to the dollar store and get some chicken broth. It's extremely high in sodium, 2 or 3 boxes of this stuff. Every morning, I'd do it at least 3 or 4 times a day. Pour you a coffee mug full, put it in the microwave, and nuke it. It tastes just like chicken noodle soup, only no noodles. It's extremely high in sodium. It'll keep your sodium balance the best that it can. Recommended dietary allowance for sodium is about 1,500 milligrams a day. On this diet, you need to have about 3,000 milligrams a day because it's extremely diuretic. I lost 9 pounds in 5 days, so just give you a sense of that. It's not unheard of for some people to lose upward to 20 pounds in 1 month off this diet. Wow. So you're going along, you haven't had any carbohydrates, your body is depleted of everything, you're consuming extremely high amounts of fat and moderate proteins. You're in the valley. As you're transitioning as your body is coming off of glucose, it withdraws literally the same way as a cocaine or heroin addict does, because carbohydrates trigger the same reward center in the brain that narcotics do. Once you transition off of that, your body is screaming at you the same way an addict's body is screaming at them to give them more drugs. But eventually your body's going to say, you know what, poof, we don't need that no more. It's transitioned onto body fat and regular fat from dietary fat. You're back up. Your energy levels will get extremely high. It is euphoric to some people. It almost has a euphoria with it, yeah. Your insulin levels are extremely low. So for a person who is a diabetic, an Alzheimer's patient, or even a cancer patient, this is an extremely great diet for that person. For cancer patients, low sugar diets actually starve cancer cells, and that's extremely great, and it'll up your chances from remission and survival. For Alzheimer's and dementia patients, glucose has an extremely hard time passing the blood-brain barrier. There's actually been studies on dead Alzheimer's patients that have shown that glucose can't pass the blood-brain barrier. On the other hand, fats, high-fat diets, aside from carbohydrates, can pass the blood-brain barrier, and in some cases have actually regenerated growth to dead or dying tissue within the brain. And there was actually a study done by a Florida doctor who treated her own husband who had Alzheimer's on a high-fat keto diet and brought him out of it. It's extremely crazy. It does work. Now, for an extremely obese person or an insulin-resistant person, this diet here, your doctor or your nutritionist or dietitian has probably already told you about it. The reason being is if you've tried every diet in the world and you can't lose weight, more than likely you're insulin resistant. What does that mean? Think of a cocaine addict who uses a small amount of dope to get high initially, and then 6 months down the road, they're using 10 times that amount of dope to achieve the same high. When you consume a carbohydrate, it breaks down into glucose in your bloodstream. Insulin is released. Insulin is a safety mechanism within the body. Insulin's only job is to clear the blood of glucose. So think of it as a key. It unlocks the skeletal muscle cells first and crams as much glucose in there for energy later. And once everything is stored in skeletal muscle, it starts unlocking body fat and starts cramming more glucose into fat. So think of fat layers like the Grand Canyon, just layered upon layer. If you're constantly having insulin spikes, you're insulin resistant, you're using larger and larger amounts of insulin to do the same thing, you're not able to burn any body fat. Secondly, 20 years down the road of having horrible eating habits, your pancreas shuts off. You're now type 2 diabetic and you have to stick yourself every day to live. So if your doctor's telling you that you're borderline diabetic or insulin resistant, try this diet. Do it for a period of time. Watch the results. Hang with it, and it will reset your body's natural insulin sensitivity, and it will bring you back from the verge of death. Secondly, for anybody who wants to just lose weight fast, this diet will do it. Like I said, the transition phase is rough. I cannot stress to you the importance of consuming a high electrolyte diet, salmon, green leafy vegetables, and over salt everything with pink Himalayan salt. It will help you overcome the transition phase.
What about Pedialyte?
I've wondered about Pedialyte, but I'm pretty sure it has carbohydrates in it. Sugars,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe.
No Gatorades, no Powerades, no Pedialytes. Eat everything and just don't have the fat phobia, because in American diets, we've been trained low fat. The reason why Americans are fat and obese, and why it's 30% of the country is obese, and the reason why the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff gets on front of national TV and says we have a national security problem because 18-year-old kids can no longer pass the Army induction PFT test because they're obese, is because we have extremely high carbohydrate rich diet with extremely high fat diet. So when you combine those two, you've got your body's primary fuel source, carbohydrates, and high fat, which is just excess energy. Combine them, your body's going to consume as much of those carbohydrates as it can first. It's going to store what it can't for later as fat, and it's automatically going to store the fat that's in that food. But if you consume a high fat diet and a moderate protein diet, in the keto diet, you won't get fat. You do not get fat by eating fat. You get fat by eating carbohydrates with fat for a long period of time.
Okay, so quick example, if they wanted to apply this diet to their life and they like to go out and eat a lot.
Yeah.
So you're saying high fat, like ribs,
bacon,
ribeye,
whole eggs, brisket, 80-20 hamburger meat, almonds, pecans, avocados. You like going to Poppy's here in Denham? They have some of the best guacamole. It's handmade right there at the table. Tell them to load it up. It's amazing. But at the house, same thing applies. Coconut oil, olive oil, sunflower seeds, already hulled out. Eat the seeds. I was eating like 15 eggs a day on this diet. Bacon, hamburger meat, just no carbohydrates. I promise you this diet will work.
For the record, it's impossible to walk into a Mexican restaurant and not eat chips. I'd like to see you do it, but anyway.
I can do that.
All right, so if anybody has any questions for Josh about this diet, they can reach you at
my cell phone number 225-315-2111. I'm currently a personal trainer here at Snap and Walker. My wife and I, we do all female boot camps. Aside from that, I currently have boot camps at Jubin Park Elementary for the teachers there. I currently have another boot camp at Walker High right now. I also have 4 other boot camps in the Miss Lou Concordia Parish area. I teach one at Lake St. John. I teach one in Monterey. I teach one on the riverfront, and I teach one at Vidalia Elementary for the teachers there. And I'm in the process of getting a boot camp together for guys. It's going to be extremely intense. Bring your A game, fellas, if you think you can hang on my boot camps. But there's a lot of ladies who are dropping weight fast doing these boot camps, and it's just another way for them to get fit outside of the gym setting, because I know it's intimidating and they don't like it.
That's right. I still think it's Vidalia, not Vidalia.
It's like the onion. It's like the onion.
All right, well, again, appreciate you watching. Again, I'm Brandon Browning with eXp Realty. This is Josh Craig. Reach out to Josh if you want some fitness advice,
anything, man. I'm here to help somebody.
Meal plans, personal training, whatever. Reach out to him. He can definitely help you. And look, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, be blessed.
Yep.